In the quiet darkness of pre-dawn, the Ghost Army prepared for another deceptive mission. Private James Mitchell, an artist turned soldier, meticulously painted a fake insignia onto a rubber tank. Their mission: to create the illusion of an Allied force far larger than the reality. The 23rd Headquarters Special Troops had become adept at this type of illusion, transforming the European theater with their cunning tricks. The unit, full of artists, illustrators, and radio experts from New York and Philadelphia art schools, had been pulled together in January 1944. They were not conventional soldiers, but masters of deception using creativity as their weapons. Mitchell glanced at his friend, Corporal Sarah Dawson, who was setting up a 500-pound speaker. Dawson, a sound engineer before the war, had an uncanny ability to mimic the sounds of tanks and troops. The speakers could be heard from 15 miles away, a critical element in making their Phantom Army convincing. The Ghost Army did not rely on firepower. Their arsenal comprised paint, rubber, speakers, and radios. Fake radio transmissions filled the airwaves, creating chaos and diverting German forces from real Allied movements. "Ready for the broadcast?" asked Dawson, her voice steady despite the weight of their mission. Mitchell nodded, knowing the importance of their work. They both understood the enormity of their deception. Failure was not an option. Every detail, down to the chalk markings on their inflatable tanks and fake observation planes, mattered. As the sun rose, the illusion took shape. German scouts, unsuspecting, would soon report a formidable Allied presence based on the Ghost Army's handiwork. Dawson switched on the speakers, filling the air with the rumble of an advancing army. A radio operator, hidden in a nearby tent, began transmitting false coordinates and orders. Over the coming hours, Mitchell observed as the German forces repositioned, falling perfectly into the trap. It was a dance of shadows and whispers, choreographed to perfection. The Ghost Army's efforts diverted enemy troops, allowing the real Allied forces to advance with less resistance. The weight of their contribution was enormous, yet remained unknown to most until decades later. After the war, they were not heroes with medals, but silent ghosts who slipped back into their civilian lives. It was not until the declassification and Arthur Shillstone's article in 1985 that the world began to understand their silent sacrifices. Their stories, though surreal, highlighted the power of creativity and ingenuity in warfare. The Ghost Army had redefined combat, using artistry and deception as their most potent weapons.